comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willis. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willis. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Welcome to Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas, and good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and every nook and cranny where our 100,000 watt transmitter gets to those little boxes known as FM radios and everything else in between for those who are still using it. But of course, welcome to the world via the internet streaming. Welcome to all. It's going to be great with you today as usual. Anyway, folks, we're going to have a great show for you today. Before we get started, of course, we must go to the geniuses, to the people who really make things happen. El Señor, the one and only Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Beba.
Well, good morning, Egberto. We still haven't found those geniuses you're talking about. And why would you not use a radio? Because the radio is the best.
No comment, man. I tell you, I'm with whatever. Look, however folks get to listen to us here at KPFT, I'm a happy camper.
I still love radio. It's always held a magic for me. Even when I was just my mother used to tell me, as a toddler, you used to raise up on the radio and look at it and listen. So I guess it was destiny.
But Howard, you know what is so funny? Before you go, Howard, you know what's so funny? You remember the demise of radio should have been gone for the last 40 years or so? Everything was going to be, that's going to be the end of radio. That's going to be the end of radio. And it's still here.
Oh, yeah. It's still here. It's hanging on. The Telecommunications Act of 1996 almost wiped out radio. Mm-hmm. So, but it managed to survive somehow. Not all of them did, but for most of them did. No rants or ravings from me this morning. Jack has a full page of wisdom, so I think we should get to it.
Good morning,
Brother Jack.
Bert.
Good morning, Jack. I am doing fine. I'm doing fine. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. All right, it boils down to this. The reason the politicians on the right are against the workers is they are for the corporations, for the corporations to rule over the workers. Big corporate business loves doing business with a dictator because a dictator will oppress the people and cut them out of the equation. The corporate will arrange loans for the dictator to buy military hardware and the people get taxed to pay off the loans. So instead of the people benefiting from resource extraction, they pay for it and suffer. This is the main reason why the politicians on the right are pushing for Trump as dictator day one. We already have a test case for this. It's called World War II. I only wonder if World War II was fought to eliminate neoliberal fascism in Germany so they could bring neoliberal fascism to America.
Well, it's taken them a long time to do it, but it's here.
Yeah, it took them 70 years, but they've been working on it.
Oh, yeah.
What is so funny is I want to tee off of something that you said there. Two things that you said, one directly and one inferred. The first one is, We love dictators. We always talk about democracy, democracy. The truth is, we love dictators. It's easier to deal with dictators because we pay off the dictator to get whatever we want. Yes, the extraction of resources. Yes, the use of their land. Yes, the use of their land strategically or otherwise. So, yes, we love dictators. The other thing, and the part that I talk about, you inferred is the part about yeah, we'll fund them. And not only fund them, but fund anyone that we think will have our ulterior motives. I ask people to think about all the guerrilla wars that are occurring around the world. Whether it being in Africa, Asia, South America, Central America, or wherever. And I want you to think about something. Where are all those guns made? Where is all that ammunition made? But it's not only where are they made, etc. We're the number one supplier of arms around the world, but you also have to take into context that where do these people get the money? These are poor, most of these guys in civil wars and guerrilla wars are all poor countries. But somehow these militaries are funded and they have monies to buy these guns. The people are starving. The people don't have industry, but somehow they're surviving. Ask yourself the question, where is it all coming from? And also, the next question is why? And believe it or not, a lot of the why is exactly in what Brother Jack had to say. But anyway, the title of the show today is We Screwed the Young. Nobel-winning economists infer Trump would destroy the economy, and some Vance truths. Okay, some Vance truths, but I don't think we're gonna get to nearly most of those things here because the phones are already lit up. I don't know how many people have watched the Republican convention. I watch it every day. It's my duty. I like to say I watch it so that you don't have to. And the other thing that I said is a couple days ago, I made a video that says we'll win in a landslide. This and over the next several days, weeks, we're going to be saying how you got to go do it. But anyway, since this is your show, again, since this is your show, I'll put what I have on hold until I let you say what you need to say, and then maybe I can get back to it. But I want to remind you all that you can find all the topics I would have discussed at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. A full program is prepared for you every single day. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Let's go to John, line number one.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, John. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm doing okay this morning. Was planning on watching the golf tournament this morning, but decided I'd call in just because I know that I mentioned the word Hitler yesterday morning, and there was a man that objected to it because I used it in reference to Trump. And strangely enough, one of the topics of the day on some of the major networks was the fact that J.D. Vance, at one point in his career, called Trump Hitler, America's Hitler.
If I may interrupt you, he used it more than once. And I have it on video. I have all those things on video. Thank you.
One thing that they're consistent with is being hypocritical. No different than Ron Johnson and Mike Johnson talking about how Biden fumbles around with the teleprompter, and what did they have happen to them? Again, Ron Johnson read the wrong speech because the teleprompter was wrong, and Mike Johnson, he opened his mouth and stuck his foot in it, and again, he had teleprompter problems and just walked off.
I was about to say that he didn't even bother. He didn't even bother saying, "Okay, guys, I'll wait for you to fix the teleprompter." Yeah. The teleprompter went crazy, and he just walked off.
He walked off, and that means that he's not speaking from his heart. And that's the problem I think Democrats have, is too many times they do speak from the heart and they don't say what needs to be said or do what needs to be done. It's no different than all of a sudden we still have an immigration problem. Beto, you know how long America has had immigration problems? Since
Well,
1779.
oh yeah. Look, first of all,
That
let's
was
be clear.
Benjamin
Let's
Franklin. Benjamin Franklin objected to immigrants coming from Germany.
look the
That's how long we've had
hypocrisy.
immigration. Every president, of course it is. And the thing is, you think with our modern media, we would be able to do a better job. But I've been working for years for unions, and I belong to a union, very proud of it. And I remember as a young man working for Cesar Chavez as a volunteer for the United Farm Workers. And what were we fighting then? We were fighting because corporate America was taking over farms and bringing in people from Mexico to cut the wages of the American workers on those farms. And all Cesar Chavez was trying to do is organize the workers so they could get decent living, decent pay. I mean, you had families, and I just happened to go to college with a couple of them who, as kids, their summer vacation was going up to Michigan and Illinois and Indiana and picking fruits and vegetables. That's what they did for summer vacation. And those were
Right.
American kids living in San Antonio, living in Texas. And what was corporate America doing? And the American government went right along with it, bringing truckloads.
John, let me interrupt you there because the lines are full and I got to go, but I want to tell you something. Thank you for bringing up that subject, and let me tell you why. We are we should be the least people talking about immigrants the way we talk about, given the way we actually came here and what we did here as far as the massacres that we've did. But forget about that. I don't want you to forget about that, but not even that, just the reality of things. The reality of things is we do need the immigrants, and yes, we need to do it we need to pass our laws commensurate with how immigration needs to occur. But while that is the case, we shouldn't be inhumane or talking about people in the inhumane fashion we talk about. The right likes to align itself with what the right and the evangelical movement are all related, yet they defy everything that Jesus Christ stood for. I am not a Christian. I used
Absolutely.
to be. I used to be a Christian. I'm not any longer. But I'm a humanist now. I care about people. But here's the thing, brother. When are we going to hold the right accountable for using or for blaspheming Jesus Christ? When are we going to do that? But thank you very much for your call, John. I appreciate your voice. All right. Thank you. Let's go to
Well,
Johnny.
thank
Come on in, Johnny.
That first caller, John, hit it spot on in his
Yes.
observation about
Yes.
Republicans in general and specifically about so-called House Speaker Ron Johnson. He's correct. They don't speak from the heart. And that's why when the teleprompter goes crazy, either on purpose, maybe somebody doesn't like him, I hope, that would be nice. I would hope that not all Republicans are unified in that way and they do disagree, just like one Republican general did back in FDR's day. Remember? He
Yes.
was a human in a way when you think about it. He foiled that plot against Franklin Delano Roosevelt. There are some good Republicans out there, even if they're a general in the military. So, yeah, Ron Johnson is a dark-hearted, evil bastard who, when the teleprompter goes crazy, he can't speak because he's not thinking about what he wants to say. He's having it spoon-fed to him, and he thinks he can pull the wool over people's eyes. But that's not why I called. Let me ask you about Marsha Blackburn and her crazy hairdo. Is it true what I heard this morning on NPR? I was switching from NPR to KPFT when I wake up, so I didn't hear the whole thing. But is it true that she was complaining about the competency or coordination or whatever of the Secret Service and or local law enforcement on Saturday when Trump was speaking?
Yeah, look, they are all complaining, but they forget one thing that first of all, the Secret Service I think screwed up royally, completely royally. I don't know what they were thinking. I think what happened is they thought they were in friendly country and they really had their guards down. That is what happens when you have a certain level of privilege. In other words, if you had seen certain people of a certain sect walking around as that guy did, he would have been arrested, shook down, etc. But you know what? He had the privilege that he could walk around, even though they thought he was suspicious, they didn't act until they knew for a fact he was up for no good. Many don't get that privilege to be first given the benefit of the doubt. I went off subject from what
And
you wanted to say, but go ahead.
black men don't get that, and neither do libs. If they think or know you're a lib, guess
You don't
what?
get that
You're
privilege.
their
Right,
execution plan. So
right.
here's my complaint about Marsha Blackburn and her sexy, crazy hairdo. I don't recall her complaining about the competency of the Secret Service back when Barack Obama was in the White House. And it wasn't one isolated incident. It was several incidents, one or two of which some crazy right-wing nut job scaled over the fence, ran across the yard, the lawn, and actually into the White House. I don't
Yeah.
recall her complaining about that. And did she bring that up in her complaint most recently
No,
about Trump
no.
security Saturday?
I am glad. I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot about that. You're absolutely right, Johnny. Hey, Johnny, let me admonish you for one thing, though. Let's not. I ask you kindly, let's not distract from the message about her hairdo. Some people would
Oh,
be ready to key on that message.
it's very important because that helps to characterize how we remember things. Just like
I
if Joe Biden had declared a national political constitutional emergency back in February of 2021, he should have been wearing something totally outrageous. That's how we remember things. We remember and we learn by association.
Okay,
So that's
I tell you
that.
that associate given the context of your message, I'll take it back. Given the context, okay, but everybody don't always see your
I feel
context.
sorry,
But John,
and I feel sorry for you. And I feel sorry for you. You're a working local political commentator because you prepare all these shows every day. Your work ethic is ultra high, and I wish that those Republicans had even 1/4 the determination and honesty that you have in the way you execute.
thank you, my brother. Appreciate you very much. Let's go to Tag. Come on, Tag.
Morning, Egberto. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Talk to me.
Just a quick word this morning about voter suppression. We all love that topic, don't we?
Yes, we do.
There was an AP story that I read this morning about the Republicans' Secretary of State in Montana. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But let me. Well, I'm going to use this opportunity to ask people. All of us are. The crowdsourcing is always best. So when you guys hear stories that touch you that you think other people should hear, don't forget to drop a link to it to me at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. kpft@politicsdoneright.com. Because you guys are great. Continue, Tag, please.
Well, the Republican Secretary of State in Montana decided a while back that if you were a hadn't voted in a while, inactive voter, that your vote wasn't going to count. And
Really?
which is just yeah, and people don't understand how they disqualify people from voting. Well, guess what? A Montana judge stepped up and said, "You can't do that. You have to count those votes, and we're going to give you until Friday to go back and get these votes counted. In the future, don't let it happen again." So,
Wait. I thought I saw the story. I thought if I understood the story correct, the reason they didn't want to count the vote is that it came in too late by mail. But it could be a different story. But I thought that was a story that the judge overturned and said they had to count the vote.
well, I think I've seen that too. But this was specifically for inactive voters. If you hadn't voted in the
Wow.
last election or last couple, 2 or 3, even if you're registered to vote, and a registered voter, if you were inactive, they weren't going to count your vote. And it leads right back to the whole Chris Kobach thing,
Right.
and how he disqualified so many people. And I think, especially coming into a big election like this, we need to, stand up and make sure that every vote's getting counted, every legitimate vote.
Now,
And-
let me
and-
just say, Tag, I agree with you, but let me tell you what I think we better do. And all of us have the power to be involved in that. All of us, 60 days or so before the election, should ensure that for the states that require registration, that don't have same-day registration, etc., follow the rules within your state and get registered within the rules of your state. It's one extra step that shouldn't have had to be taken, but let's prevent getting the judge, or rather the judiciary involved, because Donald Trump appointed a large portion of the judiciary, including a large portion of the Supreme Court. So if we make sure and abide by the law within that state early on, be responsible and go register now, it'll be okay. But I hear you and I read you. They are crooks, my brother Tag. Anything else, Tag, before we jump to Harry?
Very quickly, I found this out. If you move from one voting district to another, you have to register in the new voting district. You also have to get a hold of the clerk. You have to send something in and say that you're no longer registered in that district. And if you don't do that, they will be trying to throw your vote out because they're saying, well, you're registered in two places. You're going to be a double voter. So very important to make sure that you take care of that little bit of paperwork so that your votes count in November. So thanks, Egberto. I'll go.
Thank you so kindly, Tag. So folks, please remember all of that. And welcome aboard Billy Allison Irwin. Welcome aboard Eric Hayes. Welcome aboard Jermaine Jones, who seemed to be a Trump supporter. He says, TRUMP. All right, my brother. Still, welcome to Politics Done Right. Let's jump to Harry. Come on in, Harry.
Good morning, Roberto. Good morning, Howard, and good morning, Jack. Before I start talking about some of these Republican speakers, I'll just say, Jack Van Dever is absolutely correct. People, don't stay home. You have to vote. Get out if you're registered, or if you are going to be voting for the first time. Get registered. Get out there and vote. This is very important. And I always, like I said, I do believe in voting your conscience, but please get out there and vote. Don't stay home. And when you do vote, don't leave anything blank. Make a decision and in every voting category that's on the ballot and vote. So let me go to some of these Republican speakers. Just listening to Democracy Now! Yesterday, and listening to the Republican convention, how they fact-checked, I think she's the governor, Carrie Lake of Arizona.
Yes.
Right? Is she the governor?
Yes, she is.
Yeah. She was talking about how, and then they had that woman on. There was a woman that's talking about how she lost her baby, and because immigrants, Roberto, I know you're very sensitive to this issue. When they blame immigrants that come here and are bringing drugs in here, they're talking about the fentanyl drug, and they fact-checked that, and they said mostly it's Americans who are smuggling those drugs in here, and that's how it's getting in here and killing people. It's not immigrants. So she lied. And then let me jump to Marco Rubio. Let me get on him, and I'm sure Gonzalo, he hasn't called your show in a while, but I'm sure he understands this very well. Marco Rubio, who came out of Cuba, Fidel Castro and his brother Raul Castro trying to get equal rights for and you mentioned this on your show in the past when you talked to Gonzalo, the darker skinned Cubans being mistreated by the whiter Cubans. And, Marco Rubio, you're up here making a statement about how skin color doesn't matter. Well, they were treated as second-class citizens. Now you're in this country, and you're in Florida, and you're talking about how skin color, it doesn't matter what color your skin is. Well, tell that to Ahmaud Arbery. Tell that to Breonna Taylor. Tell that to Sandra Bland families. Tell that to Trayvon Martin or Eric Gardner. It was skin color, and all the other black people that have been murdered at the hands of police just for having a black skin tone as their skin color. So don't tell me about that skin color does not matter in this country. And Nikki Haley, well, what can I say? You just you get up there, you think people are fools, and you just think that, we'd be better off with Donald Trump than we are right now. I don't think so, that we would be better off with him. And then
Harry, thank you, my brother. I have to go. You're on 3 minutes, and I'm trying to get, all lines are taken, so I got to get to everybody. So thank you, my brother.
Okay.
I appreciate you.
Well, make sure everybody get out there and vote. It's very important.
Thank you, brother. Let's go to Joe. Come on in, Joe. Brother Joe, you're on.
So Hey man, I was doing a little homework yesterday on the choice we have in November is not the greatest, man. We have two imperfect characters running for president, and I asked you why. Why are you voting for the way that you do? And you said because the Inflation Reduction Act lifts children out of poverty, right? That is a policy that you can get behind. So I thought, okay, great. Let me look into this Inflation Reduction Act and lifting children out of poverty. But it turns out that is misinformation. The Inflation Reduction Act.
Could I stop you a sec? Before you continue, you need to go back to
Why
the
do you do
tapes.
this, Roberto?
Wait, before you
Why
go,
do you do this?
hold on a second. I'm going to let you finish, but I have to. You're currently on a incorrect premise. Yesterday, I said the policies that Biden passed, meaning the stimuli, etc., took people out of poverty. I took kids. That's a verifiable fact. Then I said it when we tried to continue when Republicans came into power in the House, and after they came into power in the House, and with the help of two senators as well, they didn't continue what the stimuli did for children. I did not associate the Inflation Reduction Act with poverty. The poverty came with the stimuli and the policies within the stimuli. So you're conflating two different things that I said. I gave you all the reasons I supported Biden. One was reduction in poverty caused by the stimuli, and the increase in employment and reduction in inflation caused by the Inflation Reduction Act and the infrastructure. So please, you have to be accurate if you're going to quote me. Continue, my friend.
You have to be accurate as well, and when you say things. But be that as it may, even Bernie Sanders said that the Inflation Reduction Act was an unfortunate example of something very common in D.C., where they name a bill one thing, but it means entirely something else. And although he did sign it, he moaned loudly that it would not help with inflation at all. In fact, it was a green giveaway, right? It was the green investment scam that's going on here, and here's how that green investment scam works. Okay, you have a nascent industry, right? That's a bunch of ideas on this green technology, right? No established businesses. And what's happening is, people like BlackRock Capital and actually Rosemont Seneca, right, is a good example. The company that was founded by John Kerry's nephew, Hunter Biden, and others invested in this EV company called Fisker, and they were gonna spend billions to build auto plants in Delaware and throughout the East Coast. They were going to be manufacturing these electric vehicles. And they enjoyed everything, right? All the government benefits to prop up their business, and they made it look so valuable and so promising. They sold that business at a huge profit, right, to China, and guess what? When the bubble popped, when the truth came out, now of course Fisker is completely bankrupt, right? And they're auctioning off the last of their inventory of really some badass looking cars. But that is how the green scam works. It's an investment
Okay,
scam.
now you just spoke for 2 minutes. You just spoke for 2 minutes. Joe, you just spoke for 2 minutes, and you used 2 minutes to misrepresent reality. That is such a small. Again, I didn't interrupt you. Now don't interrupt me. That is a very small portion of the Inflation Reduction Act. You are correct that we give these bills name. Everybody does, based on some sort of a easy to repeat and propagandize what we're going to do. That's a statement of fact that these guys, every politician does. Now that said, the Inflation Reduction Act did much more than support for green energy. But the idea that supporting green energy, there's something wrong with it when we have given trillions of dollars in subsidies to oil companies, etc., it just shows a level of indoctrination that could be fatal to your family down the road. But Joe, I got to go to Brother Ray, Third Ward, but I did let you say what you wanted to say, and we'll continue this talk with a lot of other people going forward. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Let's go to Ray from Third Ward.
Hey, Brother Egberto. I'm just calling in. Can you hear me?
Thank you, my brother. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm just getting sick of this infighting. And, besides yourself, I've kind of become glued to a lot of other so-called independent media outlets. And shame on some of them. I'm not going to name the ones that I'm watching, but some of them are actually on board with the whole circular firing squad motion of trying to, do away with Biden and then replacing them with some implant that they figure out at the convention. We all know what the real story is that nobody wants to talk about, and it pains me to say it. It's that they just want to go above and beyond any means necessary to make sure that Kamala Harris doesn't become president in that manner. And if it is her time to be up, which it is, they're going to make sure that they put every obstacle in her way. And that's so sad when we have so much, and I can't use the word, I was thinking ammo, but we have so much we can use against Donald Trump in the aggregate and what they're doing over there. I mean, and I'll end on this, Amber Rose, with the tattoo on her forehead. I mean, yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I mean, she was a rapper and she's an influencer and all that stuff. But what's the other story nobody talks about? She has a cryptocurrency charge on her that's looming. So, yeah, she was right when she say, these are my people. And that's all I got to say on that.
Okay, now let me just forewarn about something. Okay, don't let don't let the glitz of what you're seeing on TV make you believe that there's more happening. Right now, the Republicans are playing the okey doke. I'm talking about the entire MAGA movement is playing the okey doke, and it goes like this. The idea is to make Democrats feel like this is a fait accompli. In other words, that all it's done, it doesn't even matter for you to go out and vote. We got this. They ain't got anything. Let me just tell you. More people think like you do, Ray, like I do, like Jack does, like Howard does. More people in this country think that way. What the idea is to break your spirit. And I'm gonna tell you that's one of the things I will ensure. Nobody's spirit needs to be broken. The landslide that I speak about, it's not wishful thinking. It is the possibility if we choose to take that path. The path has been laid based on the based on the policies coming out of MAGA. The path is laid for a Democratic landslide. Not that we agree with everything that the Democrats do or whatever, but it's just that the policies are so bad that it'll hurt so many people, including the people that are currently unaware how badly it will hurt them. That if we do our job, don't let them break your spirit. And I will never allow a broken spirit. Again, the pathway is there on a platter if we choose to take it without fear. Now, with respect to what the Democrats are trying to do, remember I always said that people are people. My MAGA brothers and sisters are no less racist or prejudiced or sexist or homophobic than my progressive brothers and sisters. Okay, I want everybody to hear that very well. People are people. The difference is what you do by policy, not what you do from your heart, but what you do by policy. And the policy of progressives is to move forward and to, a lot of times go against my personal racism, my personal sexism, because we know it's wrong and we create policies that counter those feelings, those human feelings that many times we grew up with. But the other side let those feelings reign, and their policies generally go with those feelings. And the same thing is happening in the Democratic Party when it comes to Kamala. But I think what they're going to realize in the long run, if Brother Biden decides that he has COVID now, and I don't know, Biden looks like he couldn't go up he couldn't walk up the plane easily, taking a breath because of the COVID that he has again. But if he decides to step down, and Kamala was already elected by the people on that ticket. She is the one who got the primary votes as the guy's vice president. And as such, it's not about she needs to have it because she's a woman, black or Indian or anything like that. It is because that's who the people have already voted for. And what the people voted for is that if the person at the top of the ticket cannot fulfill the job, we voted that yes, Kamala Harris is the one that should replace it. Nothing else will be accepted, Ray. So don't get into a funk or anything. Nothing else will replace that. Else, it's a sure destruction of the party's platform, etc., for 2024. Ray, thank you very much for your call, my brother.
Thank you, Alberto.
All right, let's go ahead and go to, I've kind of lost track here. Let's go to Jeff.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Talk to me, Jeff.
Okay, I just have a quick question in terms of historical reference. Is it true that when Reagan cut the funding to the Border Patrol, that's what caused the sudden wave of the immigration from Mexico? Is that true?
I don't know if that's true. Okay, I honestly, if I can't answer that, but what I can answer is that policies that we've passed throughout in our country affected Latin America. Look, NAFTA caused a big decline in some of the produce coming from Mexico, and that caused a whole bunch of people to come over here. The rice policy for Arkansas that Clinton passed that affected Haiti caused a lot of Haitians to come over here because they lost their industry. I could name you policy after policy that American governments, both Democratic and Republicans, have done that affected Central Latin America, South America, the Caribbean, that caused a lot of the influx in people. So nobody's hands are clean, Jeff, in this regard. The one thing I said is that we better be humane because much of what's happening, it's based on the policies that we've passed. Anything else, Jeff, before I jump to Spike?
Well, I'll be damned. I did not know. Thank you for the info. But I'm sure anything legislatively can be corrected, correct?
It can be corrected. I mean, look, let me say this, Jeff, and I'm glad you asked the follow-up. We have enough. We need enough. Our birth rate is so low that we need a lot of immigrants, and the immigrants that are currently coming in has not been enough to affect our economy negatively, meaning not reduce wages. As you can see, even as we are populated by a lot of undocumented workers, which we want to document would increase their wages, the wages have not gone down. That's just a proof positive there. But thank you so kindly for your call, Jeff. Let's go to Spike. Come on in, Spike.
Yeah. How y'all doing, man?
We're doing fine, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I heard you say don't fall for the okie doke.
Yes, sir.
Man, but y'all already fell for it. Y'all have already fell for the okie doke because they done control the narrative, and they have everybody talking about assassination attempt. They tried to kill. That was staged. They got film of this guy walking over there to the building. Now that's the film. That's what they showed us. How many minutes of film that did they not show us? And they already said on the World News yesterday that they had already had him on the radar. So they've been watching him. And the people that got killed, they were collateral damage. And they killed him so he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't be able to talk. I mean, come on, y'all.
Okay, Spike. Let me Spike. Let me, brother Spike. Let me just say this, okay? Let me answer you this way. What you just said could be a possibility, but guess what? I don't know that. And guess what else, Spike? You and I can infer that. We can believe that. And by the way, I don't think that's what happened, but that's just my belief. My belief has no
That's your
better reference.
opinion. I got
My belief. No, here's what I'm saying, Spike. My belief is no better than your belief. Okay. Uh, uh, I don't have facts to justify anything, and my responsibility is to is talk about what I have facts about. Now, I think it's quite, one of my things is that they thought they were in friendly land, and let me tell you, I am a black Latino Caribbean dude. If I were over there walking like that guy, I am pretty sure you would have 10 officers run, throw me on the ground, beat upon me, and my life would be in danger. That guy there had the privilege of being able to be a suspect and be suspicious, and nobody gets close to him. That when we talk about certain types of privileges, that privilege nearly got Trump killed and got several people harmed and another person killed. But Spike, you're entitled to your opinion as well, my brother. And you know what? Hey, I respect
Let me say this.
everybody. Yes.
Let me say this right quick. And I respect what you just said, but I'm saying they said they had him on radar. So if they had him on radar, they were watching him. They
Yes.
he was up on they was up on that building 20 minutes. They watched him 20 minutes on top of the building.
Yeah,
Come
I get
on
it.
now.
I get it. Okay,
You
look,
saying
Spike, I get it.
some different
Spike,
colors. No, they were watching him, man.
brother, I get it. I don't know, okay? I don't know. But anyway, look, thank you, my brother, for calling, listening, and all that good stuff. I appreciate you, and you got a chance to put your point of view on, my brother. Talk. Let's go to Patrick. Come on in, Patrick. Patrick, you're on. I guess we lost Patrick. Patrick, if you're on mute or whatever, call back and we'll get to you. Let's go to Bard. Okay. Bard, you're on. Oh, we lost Bard. Okay, Bard, call back. That was an accidental drop, I believe. Let's go to Anthony.
Hello, good morning, Nick.
Anthony,
Good morning.
good morning,
Good morning,
Anthony.
Nick.
How are you doing this morning? Morning, sir.
Pretty good. And I'm actually impressed with a couple of things you said a few minutes ago. And I kind of lost my train of thought with the other guy talking about it was a setup. You could also flip that and say if they had so much surveillance on this guy and they were watching him, you could also say, well, they attempted to assassinate him. You know, you could flip that two ways, right? You could say it was a setup, or you could say, hey, they were actually trying to assassinate him. But I kind of lost my train of thought when he was ranting on that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm hearing all of this hypocritical talk about this Amber Rose lady. I'm not familiar with her myself, but let's flip that also as well. It's like if this lady with tattoos on her face was supporting Democrats, because there are a lot of social influencers, foul-mouthed, potty-mouthed influencers with tattoos that support Democrats. So why is it wrong for someone with a tattoo on their face to support a Republican? You see what I'm saying? If the
yeah. What you're saying makes a lot of sense, and interestingly, I spin it another way as well. If she were speaking at the Democratic convention, all the right wing stations would be saying that she's a tattooed, no good type of a hood being placed on stage. That's how she would have been described. But because she was at the Republican convention, hey, all is good. It's the same with Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump has three baby mamas. Donald Trump slept with prostitutes. Donald Trump, let me just put it this way for my audience to see that, I mean, just to hear it this way. Uh, Donald Trump looks like the prototypical representation of the way uh, folks on the right would describe black men to be. Think about this. It's not a true representation, but that is how they like to describe folks that look like me. Multiple baby mamas, sleeping with prostitutes, beating up on women, holding women by their parts. All these negative things is embodied by Donald Trump, but it's okay. So that I hope that brings your
Right.
point home, sir.
Well, yeah, you went a little bit further than I would have, but I like that we both can kind of see what's going on with the hypocrisy there.
Exactly.
That and one other thing, real quick. One other thing, really quick. Yesterday on your Shoe Talk show, a guy called in and was blaspheming this lady for being a porn star, Amber Rose, because she has a, what do you call it, OnlyFans or whatever. I'm not exactly
OnlyFans.
sure what you
Yeah.
call her.
OnlyFans. Yeah.
Yeah, questioning her character because of that. But was supposed to prop up the character of a Stormy Daniels. What's the difference? You
You're
consider both of them
hey,
so
look, I'm with you there. I am with you there. Okay, I am with you there. You won't get a comment from me there.
all
But
right,
look, thank you very much, Anthony. You have a wonderful
sir.
rest of your day.
Have a good one.
Take care, bud. All right, let's go. I had Bard called back, so let's go ahead and get to Bard.
Good morning, sir. I was not going to call in this morning until you told me that the Democrats are going to win in a landslide.
Yes,
You guys
sir.
don't even know who your candidate is. You got Joe Biden is the only man in the world that has COVID today. He's been boosted 5 times. How does he have COVID? I've never had a COVID
Actually,
shot.
let me just say, a COVID shot doesn't stop you from getting COVID. I had a COVID shot and I got COVID. A COVID shot takes the edge off, just like all the other shots that we take. It doesn't necessarily stop the disease, but it allows your system to recognize the disease and be able to handle the disease with your immune system. That said, that you think it's funny that I said we were going to win in a landslide. Let's talk in November. All right.
Hey, remember that Biden was not even the nominee. If you remember back, Bernie Sanders was way ahead of him, and then you guys
Hey,
swept Biden in there.
no, no, no.
And
Okay,
so
you're right, sir.
that's the
Bard,
point.
you're not going to get it. Bard, you're not going to get any argument from me. I was a Bernie delegate in Philadelphia. Okay, so I understand what you're saying. Yeah, the party decided that
Voted for it.
when Bernie was going to win, they all coalesced around Biden. Upset me to no order. It happened while I was in New Mexico campaigning for Bernie in the Latino community. So I'm with you, but I close ranks because I do what I think I have to do, which is best for most Americans. But thank you so kindly, Bart, for calling. Love you, brother.
Still
Let's go to
falling for it.
Patrick.
Falling
Take care,
for it.
brother. I haven't, but we'll talk later, Bart. Let's go to Patrick and then Moses. Come on in, Patrick.
Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Talk to me.
I want to know what the left equivalent to the "come and take it" bumper sticker is. And I'm sure there are some lefties, especially in Texas, that have it, but the majority are not.
I don't know.
Anyway,
Why don't you create one for me? I know you're thinking of one.
well, no, I don't think we should have one because it's a threat of violence.
Okay.
That's that's my point. The right
Okay.
is trying to blame the left for a kid that people have interviewed his peers, and they said outstandingly that he's conservative. They're still trying to push this over on us, and we're
Oh,
talking about the behavior too of the Secret Service, and I think it should be discussed. But another thing that's not being discussed, and maybe I'm hypercritical, but Trump's behavior, the very first thing he thought of after getting shot is, how can I take advantage of this? He
exactly.
pushed himself up between people trying to save his life. He didn't know that gunman was neutralized. So he has people all around him, and his first instinct is to create another target. He's
Yeah.
surrounded, but he's still going to draw fire if he's pushing himself up. So he's drawing fire at all the people around him without any cares for self-gain. That's a metaphor for Donald Trump.
You know what? It's
The,
interesting, Patrick. I hear you, Patrick, and I think that's why folks like Spike believe what they believe. Like he acted like he know this isn't real, or and he's going to get up and get that picture that's going to be framed all over going forward. I don't know what the real answers are, Patrick. I honestly don't know. But I find the whole thing, well, you know how I find the whole thing. But Patrick, I still have a whole lot of calls to get through. So thank you so kindly for your commentary, sir. Let's go to Moses. Come on in, Moses.
Good morning, brother.
Good
Come on
morning,
back.
sister. How you doing?
All right. Let me go quickly and say what I've got to say. Okay. I have me again. God is not a joke. Your sins shall correct you. No one thought it strange for that boy to be walking around with a gun, because that is the Republican badge of gun rights, right? So nobody thought it was strange. Remember January 6th, when the boss said, let them in to the gate of the Capitol. Oh, they are right. Let them in. There is a God, and he's not a joke. The convention is a carnival of lies and hypocrisy. If anybody has read John Milton's book, the book Paradise Lost, this is exactly a pure picture of John Milton's Paradise Lost. And his multitude gathered together, thinking of how they're going to overtake heaven and get back against God. That's all I've got to say. Those who have eyes to see, let them see. Those who have ears to hear,
Thank you
let
for
them hear.
thank you for doing your whole. Thank you for finishing up in 90 seconds. I appreciate that because we're out of time. Let's go ahead and go to Brian. Come on in, Brian.
Yes. Good morning, and thank you to all the volunteers for the station.
Thank you, Brian. I appreciate that.
You just had to throw the race. Yeah. You just had to throw the race card in on the shooting, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Brian, you know why I did? Because if you were in my skin and you saw somebody doing what they did and no cops come down, and then you see anytime guys like myself make moves and I can tell you things that have happened to me in stores, etc. You wonder. Okay, so that's why I brought the race in, because it was material. Continue, sir.
Okay, the man that was shot and killed, who was sitting right next to him? A black man.
I don't know. Okay.
It was a black man.
Okay.
Okay. Who was helping perform CPR? A doctor.
Okay.
Okay. Now, where's the race card on that? Why did you have to bring in race? If you were a black man walking...
Brian, I'm going to... Brian, please, Brian. You know what is the most... I wrote a book called Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean Man. I don't play race cards, but what I do is I tell the truth, and you should too. If you think for 1 minute that walking in my skin with my ethnicity doesn't matter in America, you're drinking something. I wrote this book to explain to a lot of folks like you why many things that we do, what you call is a race card, for many of us, it's reality. And everybody that knows me know I don't talk about this and that all of the time. But whenever you see me use it, it's because it's something that tinged. I got to let you go. We'll finish this tomorrow because we're out of time, and I got to go to Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, my brother.
Egberto Willis. Egberto, you look like Egberto Willis. But we all have a heart, and we all bleed red when we get hurt. So why does it matter the cover of the book? Let's all be friends.
I am. All my friends are all diverse. I am. Come on. I love everybody. You guys know that. This is not an act. I love everybody. But that doesn't mean I'm not who I am and I don't get treated.
Thank you very much. That's right. You're Egberto Willis and I'm who I am. But we need to get past all that. It's some point,
amen.
Right?
And you're going to help us do it, Donald. You're going to help us do it.
Yes,
love you too, brother.
All
right. Thank you, brother. Peace. All right. Let me throw it right back to the studio now. Senor Howard and Jacques Van Bibba.
Send me scrambling for my headphones here. I was listening. I was listening to you, of course. Nothing from me except that we invite you to come join us at the Watermelon Dance coming up on Saturday. We'll be broadcasting live from 3 until 8. It's a long broadcast. We got a 5-hour broadcast.
5 hours
live for you. That's right. We want to see you out there enjoying some watermelon, having a dance, having a good time. It's going to be a good time. We want you to come on out. Cottonwood is located at 3422 North Shepherd, just before the railroad trestle. So come on out and join us. Jack, what you got, man? Looks like you got a page of something.
Well, I found something as I flipped back through my pages, and it's an acronym for KPFT. Keep people free talking.
I love you, man. I love you. That's a great... You made that yourself, Jack? You're a genius. Anyway, folks, I got to get out of here. See why you guys are the geniuses? folks, we covered exactly 0 of the show that I wrote last night. So therefore, if you want to check it out, it's at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Look, thank you for all those calls. The lines were filled the entire time. Love you all. Love all the callers. Love all the listeners, my chatters, including, I think I saluted Allison Dreams, Gene Daigle, Billy Irwin, and all the others that's online. If I missed you, forgive me. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know, you actually know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, the Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.